Did you know your Sacagawea or John Quincy Adams dollar coin could be worth more than face value? Some of these golden dollars carry rare minting errors and high-grade conditions that collectors pay big money for. Let's find out which ones are hiding in plain sight. The 2009 US Sacagawea golden $1 coin with an error isn't just another coin sitting quietly in change jars or vending machine trays. No, this is a coin that tells a deeper story. It's one of those special numismatic treasures that can turn a casual glance into a racing heartbeat for those who know what to look for. The unique blend of modern minting, historical tribute, and that rare, elusive mistake is what pushes this coin into a whole different league of desirability. It's the kind of coin that could be worth not just a little, but an astounding $68,000 to $142,500 in the right market conditions. That's life-changing money for something that could slip right through your fingers if you didn't pay attention. The Sacagawea Dollar series, introduced in 2000, was designed to honor one of the most remarkable figures in American history. Sacagawea, the young Shoshone woman who served as a guide and interpreter during the Lewis and Clark expedition, has long been a symbol of courage, intelligence, and determination. The golden hue of the coin, achieved by a manganese brass alloy, was meant to give it a distinctive, attractive look, setting it apart from the silver-colored quarters, dimes, and nickels in circulation. When you hold one, the warm, golden color almost seems to glow, reminding you that this is more than just currency. It's a tribute to resilience and history. Now, the 2009 Sacagawea golden dollar is particularly interesting because of its place in the timeline. By this point, the Mint had been producing the Sacagawea series for nearly a decade, but in 2009, a new design initiative took shape. The Native American $1 coin program. Each year would feature a new reverse design highlighting contributions made by Native Americans to U.S. history. The 2009 design depicted agriculture, specifically, a Native woman planting seeds in a field of corn, beans, and squash. This Three Sisters imagery tied back to ancient agricultural traditions that sustained communities for centuries. For coin collectors, this new design injected fresh life into the Sacagawea series. However, what turns this specific 2009 dollar into a headline-worthy piece isn't just the design. It's the error. In the coin world, mint errors are a fascinating quirk of the production process. They can be as minor as an off-center strike or as major as a double die, wrong planchet, or even missing design elements. The error in this 2009 dollar can take several forms, depending on the variety discovered. Some examples include a misaligned die strike, resulting in certain design elements being off-center, or planchet errors where the golden layer appears uneven or missing in spots, revealing the underlying metal. There are also instances where the lettering on the edge, bearing the date, mint mark, and motto, has been doubled, inverted, or even completely absent. For collectors, these imperfections don't make the coin less valuable. They make it exponentially more valuable. Why? Because minting errors are, by definition, accidents. The mint is set up to produce coins with exact precision, and any deviation from the standard is quickly caught and corrected. That means an error coin's population is extremely small. Scarcity drives value, and when scarcity meets collector demand, the result is skyrocketing prices. That's why a coin like this can command anywhere from $68,000 to $142,500 at auctions and among private collectors. Think about it for a moment. You could have been given this coin as change at a convenience store or found it in a parking meter return slot. To most people, it's just a dollar. They see the familiar golden surface, maybe notice Sacagawea carrying her child Jean Baptiste on the obverse, and toss it into a jar. But for someone with an eye for detail, this coin could be the key to a substantial payday. Collectors often describe the thrill of spotting such coins as a mix of treasure hunting and detective work. First, you have to know what to look for. The 2009 mint mark is just the beginning. The real magic happens when you start inspecting the finer details, checking the alignment of the strike, examining the texture and color of the metal, and looking closely at the inscriptions. A magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe is an essential tool here, because sometimes the differences between an ordinary coin and a $100,000 rarity are barely visible to the naked eye. The market for error coins like the 2009 Sacagawea dollar is highly competitive. Auction houses, numismatic expos, and online marketplaces all have collectors vying for these pieces. When one comes up for sale, it's not unusual to see bidding wars erupt as enthusiasts and investors push the price higher and higher. Stories circulate in the coin community about people who discovered one in their possession completely by accident. Maybe it had been sitting in a desk drawer for years, only to sell it for a small fortune. That's the dream that keeps collectors searching through rolls of coins and scanning every piece of change they receive. The story of the Sacagawea series itself adds another layer of allure. These coins were meant to circulate widely, but in reality, they never caught on with the general public for everyday transactions. Many ended up in collections or were hoarded as curiosities, which ironically helps preserve the condition of surviving examples. A high-grade error coin from 2009, especially one with the D mint mark and a dramatic flaw, could be almost pristine, making it even more appealing to serious buyers. Condition grading plays a huge role in determining the final value of a coin like this. Professional grading services such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, provide detailed assessments, assigning grades on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70. For a rare error coin, achieving a grade in the upper 60s is like striking gold, literally and figuratively. The difference between a coin graded MS 63 and one graded MS 67 can be tens of thousands of dollars. That's why collectors are meticulous about handling and storing their coins, using protective holders and avoiding any direct contact that could leave marks. The fact that this coin can sell for $68,000 to $142,500 is more than just a testament to its rarity. It's a symbol of how history, artistry, and a tiny twist of fate can combine to create something extraordinary. The error is like a fingerprint of the minting process, a unique signature that no other coin shares exactly. It transforms the coin from a mass-produced object into a singular artifact, with a story that connects the modern collector to the moment it was struck. If you ever come across a 2009 Sacagawea Dollar, take the time to look closely. Pay attention to the edge lettering, the clarity of the design, and any unusual features. Compare it to reference images from trusted numismatic sources. You might just be holding a piece of American history that's also a ticket to a life-changing sum of money. It's worth noting that even among error coins, not all are created equal. Some mistakes are subtle and appeal mainly to the most dedicated specialists, while others are dramatic enough to catch anyone's eye. The latter category is where you'll find the coins that command six-figure prices. A bold misalignment, a striking double die, or a missing design element can all catapult a coin into the upper echelons of value. The 2009 Sacagawea Golden Dollar error, in its most impressive forms, belongs in that elite group. Collectors who own such a coin often face a choice: keep it as the crown jewel of their collection, or sell it and use the proceeds to fund other pursuits. Either way, the coin remains a conversation piece, a tangible reminder that sometimes the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight. So the next time you're handed a golden dollar, don't dismiss it as just another odd piece of change. It could be a rare survivor from a brief moment in minting history, carrying a value far beyond its face. And if that coin happens to be the elusive 2009 Sacagawea Golden Dollar error, you might just find yourself in possession of a $68,000 to $142,500 masterpiece. One that proves that in the world of coin collecting, the smallest details can make the biggest difference. Imagine standing in line at your favorite coffee shop, reaching into your pocket to pull out some change, and realizing one of the coins in your hand looks just a little different. It might be a slight off-center strike, an unusual surface texture, or maybe a missing element in the design that you can't quite place. Most people would just shrug it off and hand it over for their latte. But in that very moment, without knowing it, you could be holding a coin worth more than the car you drove to get there. And in some rare cases, more than the price of an entire house. That's exactly the kind of surprise that the 2008 John Quincy Adams $1 coin error has brought to a few very lucky people. With some of these elusive error coins selling for jaw-dropping prices between $70,000 and a staggering $145,000. This is one of those rare pieces that turns casual pocket change into a numismatic treasure. But the story behind it isn't just about the value. It's about the history, the mistakes, and the rarity that make it so incredibly special. To really appreciate how we ended up with such a valuable modern coin, you have to go back to the presidential $1 coin program. This was an initiative launched by the U.S. Mint in 2007, designed to honor the nation's presidents in the order they served, issuing 4 different designs each year. In 2008, the program brought us John Quincy Adams, the 6th President of the United States, son of John Adams, and one of the most distinguished diplomatic figures in early American history. His coin was struck in both Philadelphia and Denver, with the D mint mark indicating Denver. These coins were meant for circulation, but many ended up in collectors' hands almost immediately. They featured a portrait of Adams on the obverse, designed by Don Everhart, with the Statue of Liberty on the reverse. The inscriptions, including "In God We Trust" and "E Pluribus Unum," were placed on the coin's edge, a distinctive feature for the series. And it's that very edge lettering that, ironically, is part of why the error version of this coin has become so famous. In the minting process, coins are first struck with the main designs on the obverse and reverse, and then, in a separate step, run through a machine that applies the edge lettering. This two-step process opened the door for mistakes. Coins could be struck without any edge lettering at all, with doubled edge inscriptions, or with inverted lettering. In the case of the 2008 John Quincy Adams coin, a combination of factors, rushed production schedules, mechanical misalignments, and human oversight, resulted in a number of dramatic and highly collectible errors. Some examples show completely missing edge lettering, which means the inscriptions that are normally pressed into the side of the coin simply aren't there. Others have partial inscriptions, where the letters fade or disappear midway around the edge. For error collectors, this kind of anomaly is irresistible. In modern minting, errors are relatively rare because the process is so controlled, so when something slips through, it catches attention fast. The presidential dollar coins already had a following, but when error varieties started surfacing, word spread quickly in collector communities, coin shows, and online marketplaces. Suddenly, ordinary people were checking the edges of every dollar coin they came across, hoping for that rare missing letter strike. And while many of these error coins are worth a nice premium, the ones in pristine uncirculated condition, especially those graded high by PCGS or NGC, are the ones that push into that $70,000 to $145,000 range. Imagine a coin that cost the US Mint just a fraction to produce, being auctioned for the price of a luxury car or a small home. That's the kind of market demand these pieces have generated. Part of the magic of this coin is also in the man it honors. John Quincy Adams was a statesman with one of the most impressive resumes in US history. He served not just as president, but also as a diplomat, senator, and congressman. His career spanned decades, and his influence touched everything from foreign policy to the fight against slavery. The presidential $1 coin series brought renewed public attention to his contributions, which, in turn, elevated the appeal of his coin. Collectors often value coins not only for their rarity and condition, but also for the historical figure they represent. And Adams' legacy adds depth to the 2008 issue. It's also important to note that not every 2008 John Quincy Adams coin with a flaw will command massive prices. Serious collectors and auction houses look for specific error types, like missing edge lettering combined with high grade and luster. A coin that's been heavily circulated, even with a missing inscription, will fetch much less. That's why professional grading services are crucial for anyone who thinks they've found one of these treasures. A coin authenticated and graded at MS 67 or higher can be a life-changing discovery. There's another interesting layer to the story: timing. When the error coins first started appearing, they were often overlooked by people who didn't realize the edge inscriptions were even supposed to be there. It wasn't until reports began surfacing in coin collecting circles and on news outlets that the public started paying attention. By that time, many of these coins had already slipped into circulation and possibly into private hands without recognition. Some may still be sitting in jars, cash drawers, or coin rolls waiting to be found. And that's what keeps the hunt alive. There's a thrill in knowing that a small fortune could be hiding in plain sight. For those who do find one, the selling process can be just as exciting as the discovery. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stax Bowers, and Great Collections have all seen intense bidding wars over rare modern error coins. When a flawless 2008 John Quincy Adams error in top grade comes across the block, collectors know it might be years before another example of equal quality surfaces. That scarcity fuels competition, pushing prices up toward that $145,000 mark. It's a testament to how much value rarity, condition, and collector demand can create in the numismatic world. Even if you never stumble across one yourself, the 2008 John Quincy Adams $1 coin error is a reminder that every coin has a story, and sometimes, those stories are worth far more than the metal they're struck from. This is why seasoned collectors never dismiss modern coins as too new to be valuable. The presidential dollar series, with its unique edge lettering process, opened the door for a whole new era of collectible errors, and Adams coin stands at the top of that list. Whether you're a veteran numismatist or someone who just likes to check their change, this coin proves that treasures are still out there, waiting to be discovered, sometimes in the most unexpected places. And who knows, the next time you're handed a shiny dollar coin at the grocery store, it might not just be worth $1. It could be your ticket to a $70,000 payday, or even a $145,000 jackpot, all because of a tiny, once-overlooked mistake at the US Mint. The year 2000 brought us the release of the Sacagawea $1 coin, a bold step into a new chapter of US coinage. It was meant to be striking and modern, with its golden hue and a Native American woman carrying her child, representing courage, guidance, and resilience. But in the world of minting, even the smallest slip-up can lead to something extraordinary. And that's exactly what happened with certain 2000p Sacagawea $1 coins. Errors so rare and peculiar that they've gone from pocket change to jaw-dropping treasures fetching anywhere from $78,000 to $155,000 at auction. Just imagine turning over a coin from your change jar and realizing it could change your entire week, or even your year. The Sacagawea coin was the U.S. Mint's answer to the failed Susan B. Anthony dollar. While the Susan B. Anthony dollar often got mistaken for quarters due to its similar size and color, the Sacagawea dollar stood out with a golden tone created by a blend of copper, manganese brass, and zinc. It wasn't made of actual gold, but its warm, rich look gave it a premium feel. The Philadelphia Mint struck millions of these coins in 2000, marked with that small P mint mark. The goal was to create something functional for commerce yet beautiful enough to inspire collectors. And for the most part, they succeeded, but as with so many things in coin collecting, the magic comes when something goes unexpectedly wrong. One of the most famous and valuable errors tied to the 2000p Sacagawea dollar is the so-called Mule error, where the Sacagawea obverse was mistakenly paired with the reverse of a Washington state quarter. How does such a mismatch happen? In the minting process, each side of the coin is struck by a different die. If a die meant for a different coin accidentally gets paired with one from another denomination, the result is a hybrid, a mule coin that should never exist. These are incredibly rare because the minting process has many checks, but sometimes a few slip through before the mistake is caught. When it does happen, the resulting coins become instant legends in the numismatic world. Imagine flipping over a Sacagawea dollar expecting to see an eagle and instead spotting a quarter's reverse. It's the kind of thing that makes collectors' hearts race. But mule errors aren't the only reason a 2000p Sacagawea can skyrocket in value. Some coins feature dramatic striking errors, like broad strikes where the coin's rim is missing because it wasn't properly seated in the collar during striking. Others have off-center strikes that visibly shift the design, creating a quirky and unmistakable error. There are also double die errors, where the details, especially in the lettering or date, appear doubled due to a misalignment during die creation. These kinds of flaws stand out even to a casual observer, making them both fascinating conversation pieces and valuable collectibles. The story of these coins took an even stranger turn when reports emerged of certain 2000p Sacagawea dollars that had a distinctive finish and wear pattern. It turned out that some had been released into circulation through Cheerios cereal boxes as part of a promotional campaign. These so-called Cheerios dollars were later discovered to have a subtly different reverse design, especially in the tail feathers of the eagle. This made them an entirely different collectible class, valuable in their own right, though separate from the mule and striking errors that pull in the highest figures. Collectors love these coins not only because of their rarity but also because they tell a story. The mule errors represent a direct and visible mishap in the minting process, something that should have been impossible. The Cheerios dollars connect to a quirky piece of marketing history, and the standard error coins, whether double-struck, broad-struck, or off-center, give us a window into the high-speed, high-pressure world of coin production, where even the most advanced systems are still susceptible to human or mechanical error. If you've ever wondered why someone would pay tens of thousands, or in this case, upwards of $150,000 for a single coin, the answer lies in the combination of rarity, condition, and story. In the case of the 2000p Sacagawea Mule error, there are believed to be fewer than 24 known examples. That makes them exponentially rarer than most collectible coins. Add to that the fact that they're relatively modern, meaning collectors remember the year they were released, and you get an item that sparks intense bidding wars when one surfaces. A coin like this doesn't just sit quietly in a collection. It becomes the crown jewel, the piece you show off when you want to impress even the most seasoned numismatist. Let's put that price into perspective for a moment. We're talking about a coin that, if you happen to pull it from your pocket change in the year 2000, could have been used to buy a candy bar or a soda. But today, that same coin, if it's one of the rare error examples, could sell for $78,000 on the low end and as much as $155,000 on the high end. That's the kind of leap in value that makes coin collecting such an exciting and unpredictable hobby. You never quite know what might turn up in a jar of loose change or at the bottom of an old drawer. Now, here's something worth noting for anyone curious about spotting a potential treasure. Mule errors are obvious once you know what to look for. On a mule Sacagawea, you'll see George Washington's portrait on the obverse paired with the Sacagawea reverse, or vice versa, depending on which die pairing was used. The moment you flip the coin over and see that mismatched design, you'll know you've stumbled onto something special. As for other error types, look for any major misalignment, doubling in the lettering, missing details, or edges that don't match the standard design. There's also a lesson in all of this about the role of attention to detail. Most people handle money dozens of times a day without really looking at it. The texture, weight, and design of coins becomes so familiar that it's easy to overlook something unusual. But for collectors and treasure hunters, that habit of glancing closely at every coin can pay off, sometimes quite literally. It's a reminder that extraordinary things can be hiding in plain sight. When you hold a rare 2000p Sacagawea Mule Error or another striking mistake in your hand, you're holding more than metal. You're holding the product of a specific moment in history, a combination of timing, process, and oversight that came together in just the right way to create something irreplaceable. And for the lucky few who find or own one, that rarity translates into both bragging rights and serious financial value. The Sacagawea dollar itself might not have achieved the everyday use in commerce that the mint hoped for, but in the collecting world, certain examples have achieved legendary status. And among those, the Mule Error stands as a shining example of how a simple production mistake can capture the imagination of an entire community. The fact that a single example can bring in between $78,000 and $155,000 makes it one of the most talked about modern coins in U.S. numismatic history. So the next time you come across a golden dollar coin, especially one from the year 2000, don't just toss it in with the rest of your change. Take a closer look. Flip it over. Study the details. Because while most will be ordinary, there's always a chance that one might just be the rare error that transforms a simple coin into a life-changing discovery. And that's the real magic of collecting. Not just owning a piece of history, but knowing that history can sometimes come with a surprise worth more than you ever imagined.